guys. We're doing a review today on the Classic Army.
No! Get out of here. Guys, what's up? It's your boy Chuckles today. I have a special treat. The Microgun by Classic Army. You guys have been waiting for this one a long time. And finally, we have them. Pretty much everywhere has them sold out. People have been pre-ordering these things like it's nobody's business. So, we have them here though. Now, this thing's been long awaited. Definitely been seeing a few videos, but now you get to see the thing in the flesh. Come down to our store and check these things out because they're really awesome news. Now, when you first get it out of the box, not everything is put together. Obviously, the main housing unit with the entire rotor and everything, the barrels are put together. You have to attach the grip. You have to attach the mechanism here. You have to attach the side tubes as well. But beyond that, it's nothing too complicated. It just uses Allen keys. Really easy to put together. Simple, straightforward, nothing that's going to take up too much time. So, for construction-wise, the body is really a polymer. So it really cuts down on weight. The barrels are metal, but it's really nice. They feel really durable. You can definitely tell that they're high quality. But that cuts down on weight. This thing's like 9 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. It's not really going to weigh you down. You can walk around with this thing all day, and you're not going to be dying out there in the airsoft field. Up front, you have 4 individual inner barrels that are all going to be, the barrel actually rotates. I'll show you that in a sec. Well, orange tips, you can remove them, but the orange tips also act as spacers to hold the barrels in place. So you might just want to paint them over or just make your own kind of printers. The barrels do rotate, so I'm going to show you that. So back here is the safety, and the trigger will activate it. So hold it down. You have to apply a decent bit of pressure to get it to spin, but it spins, which is super cool even if it's not pressurized with anything. Alright, so on the right side of the gun is the housing for all of the electrical parts, motors and everything. All the electricity does is turn the barrels. That's all that it does. It doesn't propel anything. It doesn't power it at all. Pull this little latch off here. See in the back, you have a lot of space for a pretty hefty 11-1. And I say 11-1, you're going to need 11-1. It does the normal Classic Army thing where you have it wired to Deans already, but they include the connector, which is super nice of them to do because Deans, everyone should just have Deans. It's a lot more, it's a lot less complex, better connectivity, you know, all of those advantages that you kind of get with Deans connectors. So then moving on to this side over here, this is actually runs off high pressure air, whether that's green gas or whether that is a high pressured air tank, so HPA, anything like that. Uses green gas. The one problem is that kind of the standard green gas cans that we know and love in the US here, they don't fit. At least, not with a lot of force. And I'm not going to cram that thing in there. So either A, some of them fit, but I've had experiences where for the most part, a green gas can won't fit. And that gets expensive too, because then you're buying 16 bucks a can, let's say, for green gas. For the 2,000 rounds that this thing has, you're not going to be able to constantly run through that every game. And you're going to run through a lot of BBs with this thing. So, instead, rather than where the green gas will be connected to the gun, Classic Army is super cool by means of, as I said, the HPA. So if you have your Polar Star regulators, red lines, anything of that sort, no high pressure air lines, it'll be able to use this. You can't run this thing over 120 PSI is the highest that they recommend. So you can't over pressurize it by that means. But high pressure air is certainly the way to go with this. It's going to keep it a lot more consistent. You won't have to worry about running out of green gas. It'll peter out at the end of everything. Then you just have the barrel spinning. It's much more consistent and you can control the FPS, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So then you get back here, you can see the handle. So it is similar to like a chainsaw style kind of grip, just that style. On the back is the safety. Can't activate it unless you have the safety depressed, kind of like a beaver tail safety on a pistol. And then press down on the red button and hold it down. It'll take us maybe a moment to spin up. It'll spin up and it'll get going. The problem that you run into is if you don't press it down all the way, it's just gonna start leaking air. So you'll be able to hear that at some point. But you need to hold it, press it all the way down, and after a while it gets kind of tiring, so you might need to double up on the fingers. But other than that, it works perfectly fine. One cool thing that's incredibly interesting is that they have a hop up for each of the barrels. Are you gonna be looking to pick people off at 200 feet? Definitely not. You're not gonna be the most accurate. The whole point of this gun isn't to be a super sniper with it. You're gonna be suppressing fire mostly. But it is really cool that they offer a hop up, so whatever weight BB you use, if you need a little bit of extra hop with that, get a little more distance and a little more range, it's gonna be super effective for you. So then the way to access it is you pull off these stoppers, pull out these, pull off this little doorway, this latch, and then you can access. You can manually spin the barrels. By doing that, you're able to access and then just adjust the hop up as needed. So, going back to the front, you might be wondering, where do the BBs go in this thing? Well, it's kind of a cool thing. It was kind of ingenious, I think. So what Classic Army did, it's right up front, right here, is the follower. So what you do is just unscrew this bad boy, and you have a follower. Boom. So now this thing's flat at the bottom, just screws right in. So there's the BB reservoir, so you'll pour BBs into here. And that'll hold 2,000 BBs. So that'll get you through a game, but more than one game, I'm not really sure. But you pour 2,000 BBs in there, you have this follower, and as it would on a mid cap, if you scrunch it all the way down, it is going to push until it can get as many BBs out of it as it can, which is a really good way. You know, you're not gonna have too many BBs left over out of 2,000 that didn't get fed into the gun, which is really cool. And then another cool thing that allows you is, rather than something where you have to shake it around like a box bag to get it, you can shoot it at just about any angle because that follower is still going to be pushing up. So even if I wanted to shoot upside down like this, or off to the side, or over here, I'm not going to have a problem doing that. That follower is going to be able to keep those BBs constantly fed, so I won't run into an issue like that. Alright guys, so now you've talked enough about the thing. Let's take it on over, see what kind of results we could get.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Chuckles here, and they have a very special present for you today, the Classic Army Microgun. Minimal effort, maximum effect, yeah!
Alright, so, didn't take it over to the chrono station in this video, but we have chronoed it. So, it says never to exceed 120 psi. At 120 psi with a 0.25 gram BB, you're going to be seeing about 430 FPS, which you obviously can't run in here. But you have a wide range, 120 psi. If you drop it to, if it was 50 or 55 psi, we were actually seeing 315, 320 FPS. So we were able to do that, so we can get that field legal for in here. You have that opportunity, and it's not going to mess with any of the functionality of the gun. It's still going to shoot just fine. Whereas some guns you might see, you drop below a certain PSI, then you're going to be running into issues, feeding, blah, blah, blah. Don't have that problem with this thing, which is a pretty freaking sweet feature. This thing, you'll see about 28 rounds a second. It shreds for sure. Classic Army is actually looking to release a higher torque motor for soon, hopefully, to get it up to like 38 rounds per second, which is already pretty crazy, so that's just adding to a whole new level. They're also working on vehicle mounts and spade triggers so that you can mount it on your vehicle and run them as a saw, which is perfectly fine. I mean, this thing is made to be a saw. Alright, so, my final thoughts on this thing. Me, as well as Isaiah and Wyatt, have all gotten the opportunity to use this thing in-game. And let me tell you, it's freaking sweet. There's nothing that really has ever paralleled to something of this magnitude to be able to have this much power. I was just shooting at walls and kids would call their hits just from sheer fear of what this thing was doing, just how fast it put out rounds. Now, it's not the most accurate thing, I'm not gonna lie. Even if you're running 2.5s, you're still not going to be aiming very well. It's incredibly difficult to aim is the problem. Even if you're holding it and you think you know where it is, it's definitely not where you think it is. So sometimes I'd hold it up here and I try shooting, but that kind of is beyond the purpose of what this is made for. This is made for holding down heads, and that's the only reason. It's a suppressive fire weapon. Doesn't have any function that it needs other than that. You don't need to shoot anybody, though it is absolutely satisfactory. But that's not the primary function. Should you run it as a green gas function? I'd say no. I'd recommend if you already had some sort of an HPA setup, so you had a Polar Star, an SMP, or anything like that, that you actually buy this so that you have your HPA, because that can add up to maybe $200 or more that you need to, in addition to the price point on this thing, which you're looking at about over $700, so $725 or so. You're looking to get this thing, but is it worth the amount of money that you're going to spend? Is it worth the 700 something bucks? Oh, absolutely. I would not say that for a second, that I didn't have any sort of fun using this thing. So, it's totally up to you now. Leave in the comments below if you would actually run this thing. Now that they're out, we do have them in store here. You guys can come out and check them out. Sometimes we do demo shooting, so you might just be super lucky enough to catch us on a good day. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching our review. Don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts and feelings on this thing, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook. Don't forget to check our website, extremeairsoftri.com, for all of our monthly events and any updates we have. It's been your boy Chuckles. It's the classic Army Microgun. This thing is so sweet. And you guys thought we only had one. You was wrong! I guess that's good enough. That's a good enough way to end it.